What's going on, traders? Welcome back to day 18 of 25 days of trading. I appreciate you tuning back in as always. Reminder, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any future uploads. Every morning at 11 a.m. Eastern, all the way through Christmas morning, we'll be dropping the next video. And if you haven't seen the previous 17, there's a lot of videos out there now. Make sure to go back and watch those once you're done here. But I appreciate you tuning in. In today's video, I want to talk to you about my previous months of trading. We're just going to recap it real quick, go over lots of markups, lots of trades. So put your phones down. Take some notes if you want. Screenshot these setups because they are noted very nicely, if I have to say so myself. I try to put good notes on these charts for myself, but they also do benefit you of seeing what my thoughts were when I was in the trade, why I got in it to begin with, how I managed it from entry to exit. You could see all my thoughts within it. So, without further ado, let's take a look at the previous month's worth of trading. So, going back to November, I made a small video on this of just this proves the point of not needing to trade more to make more money. I've said that plenty of times. We don't need to hone on it in this video, but this really does just prove the point. There's a lot of days off. I probably had more days off than I actually took days of trading, and I still had a very healthy P&L that I'm pleased with. Obviously, the one red day, very small. Even just to have one red day a month feels good, right? Because you don't have many red days to deal with, try to bounce back from. It was very healthy, very clean, simple. I'll come back tomorrow, and then before I knew it, the month was over. I took a few trips. I was away from the desk a few times, but I can still make money when I do show up prepared and not overtrade and stick to my rules. That with less time, I still can find a good P&L. Where one lesson in this would be, if I did have outstanding outlier big red days and I only did trade 9 days, then it's going to be tough to try to claw that back if I'm not around to trade 15, 20 days that month. That I really, in order to make a P&L in 9 days, you have to keep it tight. Keep it clean, not a lot of big mistakes because there's not much time to make it back. And then now we're here in December, off to a very nice start. No red. Can't hate that. On a nice little streak of 12 days, 14 trades in a row. We'll take that. In my past 17 days of trading, one red. That's the one going back to November. So I guess I'm on a little bit of a heat check. So am I just going to jinx it now because I'm making this video and I just acknowledged it? Hopefully not. But keeping it tight. You see, I already have 9 days of trading this month in the first 10 days. All last month I had 9 days. So it's just funny how trading works sometimes. But even this month we will have a shortened amount of days because I won't really be trading the last week. So it's probably still not going to be a 20 trade month. But while you're all here, let's take a look at some of the trades going back from start to finish. So first off, this one, using the midnight price, all of these are going to be looking familiar in terms of why I got in. But let's just go over this first one on the short side. Again, not taking that first break outside the opening range. Seeing it pull back to our New York view up here in blue. Sellers defend it. I'm taking the second break outside of it when sellers truly do defend it and say that they are here to stay, with our midnight target below us that it probably wants to fill 66% of the time. Now later on in the day, clearly sellers did not maintain that control at all. We now make a new high of day, which is also the initial balance high being broken. Pulls back to open range high, key level. I made a video about that. Break of high a day. Let's go continue trend because the trend is now higher highs, higher lows. And even on the 15-minute, it's also very bullish. So 2 trades in the same day, different directions, about 2 hours apart. But not marrying the shorts after this first one, being willing to flip long bias if that's what the price action's telling me to do. Now we go to the next day. Same thing. Bearish start to the open. Obviously, this isn't a strong break of the open range low, so I can't even really chase that. But it pulls back. Buyers fail to break us above this New York VWAP. So once sellers bring us back below the second time, I'm willing to short it. We talked about this on stream. The one thing that's maybe not great about this is this second pump out isn't really a pump out. We're still inside that open range low. It would have been ideal if maybe we got outside the open range low here and then I'm selling it. But in this case, it was such a wide pullback and wide opening range low that we're still within it. But you can see how well it respects underneath the low of day VWAP as well as the New York. So sellers were in the whole time. I just had to be super patient with it. Sellers moving lower, lower, and then we finally got that pop for a new lower day like we were hoping. But again, just following that trend. The next one, is this the same day? I don't think so. It is the same day. So now later on in the afternoon, this blue line, the initial balance low, we get a new low a day, pulls back. I'm trading off the key level of initial balance low. Again, it's in futures 2.0. It's on all my streams of trading these key levels. I just made a video about that just a couple days earlier of how do I trade these key levels and how do I identify them, first of all. But playing the bounce off that. Not even just 20 minutes later, right? That first short is over here off the initial bounce low. I play it again when it breaks the lower day VWAP and respects the lower day VWAP and initial bounce low again. Just riding the trend off my key levels. Simple. Riding the structure, not overcomplicating it. Now we go to the next week. Lower highs and lower lows to start the session. So again, same thing. We could even say, here's finally our first break of the open range low. I'm not chasing that. Buyers fail to really break us above here. Still making lower highs from previous, right? So we're still falling on top. I'm looking for shorts once sellers take us back below the lower day VWAP again. Just riding the structure. We got a target below us with orders at 59.10 on this day. So it's not amazing because we have that blue VWAP you could see. That's yesterday's New York VWAP. So potential support there. I'm trading into that. But I'm able to get 1R to it with this tight stop with that good price right near that New York VWAP. And we're able to get that 1R. Because you can see the note here. I'm out even before it breaks through yesterday's New York. But another good lesson, because let's go to the next one here. On the same day, I actually go long. So I was just short here on that markup. It goes a little bit lower than my exit. Okay, cool, fine. Comes back up, but here on the right side, we're still making lower highs, Evan. Why are we long in this? We're still making lower lows too, even. Right, we just made a new lower day down here. The left side of the screen, the 15-minute. I made another video about this. So we have a 15-minute video I just released, how I use the 15-minute. We have an initial balance video. We have an opening range low video. We have an edge report video. So all these trades are on par with all the things I've been speaking about of how do I take these trades. So within this previous month, if you want more clarification on these levels, on these VWAPs, how I'm reading the 15-minute more in depth, because this is just maybe 1 or 2 trades. There's a whole nother video about it in this same series. So make sure you go back and watch those in this 25 days of trading series here on YouTube. But here on the right side, like I was saying, on the long side, I just went short. Now I'm flipping along. But because here on the left side, look where we're closing back above that daily VWAP. After clearly respecting this blue VWAP of yesterday's New York, which did indeed become support. Like I was saying, it could have been that short. And we're still building higher lows down here. The trend's very bullish. So I actually do want to be super long because the sellers aren't really having a new low a day be made constantly. We keep getting back inside this range, right? It's now almost 11 a.m. and we're still back inside the opening range, right? So buyers are trying to bring us up. And now the way the 15-minute was looking, I was comfortable long it because we're finally closing back above that daily. Now next day, new low a day, pullback, we're mid-range. Where's the trending structure like we were having on the other days? It's nowhere to be found. So surprise, surprise, I got stopped out break even. Now I will say I could have made money on this, should have made money on this. I had poor management. I was getting induced by Austin, that son of a gun. But he was talking about book map orders above us on this day. I'm not going to make up the numbers, but there was somewhere like 96 or so. So when I was long down here, yes, I'm at 1R. So Evan should be taking profits at a key level of opening range high and 1R. But there's the chirp in the background, that peanut gallery getting induced. Okay, well, let me hold a little bit longer. There seems to be orders up here that want to go get engaged. So let me try to go get those because I'm in a winning trade. It looks like that's probable to go get those. So let's be greedy and hold on to there. It never gets there, and I got stopped out for break even. So that's on my fault. I'm not saying it's any of the peanut gallery's fault for chirping. Of course, they're just saying what they see, and fair to them, I got induced by it. I strayed from my own rules, so I don't really deserve to make money on it because I didn't take profits where I'm supposed to and where I tell you guys to all the time. I'm human too. It's going to happen. Then we go to another day. Bounce back day. Following that break-even trade the day prior. Damn, that's tough. But now, low a day being broken here. Opening range low. Okay, cool. Go where you want. You could run without me. That's not my trade. Pulls back. Sellers clearly defended again. And now we break the lower day view up again. There's my trade. Now I'm going short. It takes on some drawdown, but with a good stop loss up here, I'm still fine. Because what are we doing? We're really just making lower highs still underneath that open range low here. Lower highs all day, all day. So clear shorts. I'm just being patient with it, and it falls. Again, poor management a little bit. If you read all these notes, you're going to have to screenshot it. I'm not going to say them all. But I got out of this at break even because it was just so slow, failing to make a new low a day, make a new low a day. Sellers are just really slowing, chopping around, always coming back to break even. So I bailed on it. No harm, no foul. Thankfully, able to get back in once I saw sellers defend underneath that lower day view up again and start to curl over. I then got short again, able to capitalize on the move. So it was not a loss, it was just a break even and a win. But it was pretty much the same idea from the first one that thankfully I got back in because it would have been annoying to be short back here, see it fall. I'm out at break even. I made nothing on it. That would be tough. But again, trending structure. The next day, trending structure. This is following Thanksgiving. I was just using my own personal discretion of there's clearly no sellers in the market today. We are just drifting higher. So I don't know if we have that normal volume and strength to see that full pullback to this New York like I'm always telling you guys I want, and I do want it. I just don't know if we're going to get it today because there's clearly just not enough selling pressure to give that one. So I think I'm just going to miss the train higher and higher. Now, of course, it could have given that one, and I take a loss of like, what are you doing? You don't take those short pullbacks. You always wait for the bigger one. But today it worked out because I was just using discretion. And at the end of the day, I'm comfortable taking the loss because if it did pull back, same thing, I would just get back in and hopefully capitalize on the long back up. But to me, it was worth the risk on that Friday when it was just slow drift higher, no sellers. Let's put a little piece on. And you can see I only got like 4 points out of it for 1R. It was a 5-point stop. Very slow that day, although straight up, not a lot of points. Very slow. Let's go to the next day. So now we got a little bit choppy of the open. So what's Evan doing? I'm not doing nothing. I'm not buying that. I'm not chasing this first break lower. And then we don't get a break back outside the open range the second time. Like I was saying, I'm not chasing the first. I'm chasing the second. Well, we don't get the second. So no shorts there. No longs or shorts back here. It's indecisive. It's choppy. I don't see my trending structure. I'm not doing nothing. And I'm long bias on the higher time frame. I think I discussed this trade on that 15-minute video. So you can definitely go check that out for more discussion on that. But then finally, we get a new high day. Okay. Lining up with that higher time frame bias that I have because we're above all EMAs. We now pull back to New York. Maybe this is our higher low from that higher time frame in here on the 1 minute. We break outside the open range high again the second time with a break of high day view up here in purple. All right, let's go. Let's go continue that trend that I have set in on the 15-minute. Structure is now moving higher. Now I have trend. Now I can get involved. But I couldn't in the morning. This is another clear example of that 15-minute being used because this 1 minute does not look pretty. But normally maybe someone would try to sell it over here, right? Saying we have a lower high from up here. Is this going to be our lower high and we make a new low? Could be. But are we too zoomed in on the 1 minute, ignoring the fact that we're still making higher lows from yesterday, today here on the left side of the screen? We're above yesterday's New York. We're now breaking above the daily. You can see the blue circle. That's the time of entry over here in the 1 minute. So it actually looks like buyers are stepping back in. It looks like all this bearish price action was just a pullback on this 15-minute, creating a higher low, and now buyers want to step back in. All right, I'm comfortable with this long. So using that 15-minute, I was able to get outside a little bit of my trading plan, right? Just in terms of this isn't the structure you normally see me take, but it still fits my plan of riding the trend, being above VWAPs more than not. So I was able to, again, capitalize using that 15-minute on a choppier day. So again, that's why I made the video about of how I'm using this 15-minute to help pair with the 1 minute, not be too induced into that 1 minute, because I'm sure someone sold it there, seeing the move down to start. This was just recent on stream. Beautiful example of clean trend to start. We get the retest to New York. My original stop was this dotted line when we took it on stream together on ASFX TV, because this is current structure. That's too tight. I don't want that. Let's go with previous structure back here. So that was the reason for the stop loss there. But then as it pulls back, respects New York a second time, maybe even a little bit clearer now with full bodies. And then it gets back above that high day view up a second time. That's where I was able to add in to the trade because now buyers are really defending it and telling us we're still building higher lows here on the bottom. So now I move the stop loss up a little bit tighter because I'm also adding risk. So I don't want to have the wider stop and now be a little bit too heavy. But it also looked good there. And at the add-in point here, I would not want it to get below here because then we're probably coming to open range high. But in simple terms, higher highs and higher lows, above the New York VWAP, above opening range high, 15 minutes bullish, and Q's moving up on the day. Let's continue trend higher. My signal is on a break of high day VWAP after a pullback, and this is what you get. Now, a lesson on this one would be, hopefully you made money on it, because a lot of people probably had a tight stop here, or they bailed on it early just because of the chop. But if you have the right stop, you give it the patience, you should be able to make money out of it, because it's not invalidated. It's part of your plan to be in this trade until it gets stopped out. So hopefully you guys all made money on that. But I think just overall, recapping the past month of trading, super pleased with how December is starting and finishing off the year. And especially following the slower December, I didn't really feel like I was missing too much of like, oh man, I'm not trading enough. Again, because the stats were still pretty good. I'm content with the gains. Or maybe if it was like a slow month on the P&L side and the trade side, it could make me want to rush and do some stupid stuff. But thankfully, still just sticking to my plan in December, following my structure, seeing these plays work out more and more, developing it more. Like I said, I made that 15-minute video of how I use the 15-minute to help me get into these 1-minute trades when it's not as maybe clean trend on the 1-minute, how I'm using the initial bounce, the opening range, every level and every VWAP and every time frame we went over on all these different setups. I have a video about it on this YouTube, on this 25 Days of Trading series, so go check it out. And you can also check out ASFX TV, where I go in deeper of the actual trades I take on the VWAP break, the VWAP bounce, the key levels. So again, everything I talk about in there is also more in depth, more advanced in the course here on ASFX TV. If you're watching this in December before the new year, if you use code Xmas, you can get 25% off. You get the access to the 2 courses, Austin's beginner one here, as well as the live streams where you see me take these trades live, as well as what I taught you in the course, and you'll be able to see my markups, me take the trades live, give you the breakdown of why I got in, where we're supposed to get out, everything from entry to exit, and even risk, everything. But appreciate you guys tuning in. Let's have a strong finish to the month, the year. Let's get ready to rock and roll in 2025. I appreciate you guys tuning in as always. Make sure you subscribe, leave a like, share it with a friend. I'll see you guys back on the desk tomorrow morning.